Alright, so before this video starts, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Definitely means a lot. Thank you, and I appreciate the support. I will continue to make One Piece content, so remember to drop a like if you enjoyed today's video. Alright, so Oda has dropped Road to Laughtale Part 3, and Oda has given us information about Devil Fruits and Joy Boy. If you guys are not aware, there has been special One Piece chapters dropping every week since 1053, and basically Oda is giving us a bunch of new information and solidifying things we already know in the Road to Laughtale databooks. Even though Oda is taking a break, he's still giving us mini chapters, and that's one of the best parts about One Piece, and I'm pretty sure these chapters are honestly better than some regular manga chapters. Alright, so we start off with Sun God Nika, and it's actually pretty interesting. Over here we see Oda is explaining everything we need to know about the Sun God Devil Fruit, and the Gorosei have basically been working extra hard to make sure the Devil Fruit stays low profile. This is something we already know about, but if we look over here, Oda is drawing a connection between Luffy's heartbeat and the drums of Sky Island. So basically Oda is confirming Joy Boy left an influence on Sky Island with the drums of liberation, which also means Joy Boy could have left his influence in many nations around the world. This makes perfect sense because there are other nations around the world besides Sky Island that also have a deep connection to Joy Boy. Oda tells us that Luffy has not actually fully awakened his Devil Fruit yet. Luffy believes that he has unlocked the power of Gear 5 and that he's fully mastered his Devil Fruit, but Oda says imagination can become reality. So I recently made a video about Luffy vs Kaido, and I was saying that Luffy would not be able to do planet busting stuff and opening dimensions or whatever, but I think that might actually be wrong. This chapter basically explains that what we saw in the battle against Kaido was only the surface of what Gear 5 is capable of. We saw Luffy running on air and turning lightning into rubber. He even turned Kaido's body into rubber, and he literally popped out of his mouth and like turned his eyes into hands. It was crazy. Luffy's Devil Fruit is extremely versatile, but Oda is basically confirming there is a lot more to come with this fruit. So who knows, Luffy might start pulling things out of thin air and he might start changing reality, but we have to wait and see what's in store. But I can already tell Luffy's fruit is going to be pretty OP. There is a little information about Joy Boy, but it's nothing we don't already know. The real juicy information is about Devil Fruits. Oda goes into detail about certain Devil Fruits and their abilities. Basically, this chapter explains that Paramecias are just unique superhuman abilities, and it's actually more of a miscellaneous term, and it's not really an absolute term like Logias and Zones. Oda describes that wide range of fruits get labeled as Paramecia, so this explains why people like Jozu and Magellan and even Katakuri sometimes get confused as Logias. They resemble Logias, but they can actually produce elements to the point that they cover their whole body. In Katakuri's case, he's a special Paramecia. He actually is made of mochi, but mochi is not an element and he's actually not intangible. He can be hit. What he actually does is he uses future sight to mimic the properties of Logias. So basically, when fruits like this exist that are close to Logias but not exactly Logia, they do get classified as Paramecia. All these abilities that we can't really explain. If you see any abilities like from Devil Fruits that you can't really explain, chances are they're a Paramecia ability. This also explains the secret behind Luffy's Devil Fruit. It explains why everyone believed that the Gum Gum fruit was just a rubber fruit, because to the naked eye it literally is just a rubber fruit. Nobody has awakened it for 800 years. So if they just told the world that's a Paramecia fruit, nobody's gonna bat an eye. And plus, they had it in their possession for a while, but it escaped eventually with Shanks. And I'm assuming that there have been other people who've stolen it from them. It doesn't seem like they've had it for that long. They did say that it has been avoiding them, so I don't think Shanks is the only person who's ever stolen that fruit from them. Okay, so we even got an explanation for Paramecia Awakenings. Oda tells us that Paramecia Awakenings can change the surroundings and affect things other than yourself. So basically, we see this from Katakuri and Doflamingo and Luffy. He can even change the things into rubber, such as lightning and Kaido. Like, he's turning people into rubber. This is pretty crazy. So basically, even in his Mythical Zone Awakening, Luffy has Paramecia properties. So Oda also goes into Logia Devil Fruits, but he does not reveal the awakening. So we're gonna have to wait a long time before Oda finally reveals the awakening of Logia Devil Fruits. But considering awakening seems to be related to the type of Devil Fruit, it's safe to assume the battle between a Kiji and a Kainu is the first glimpse of an awakened Logia fruit. Enel is another Logia I think is awakened because of his Raijin form. We've never seen any other Logia transform the way Enel just transformed. So I definitely think Enel is also awakened. Enel can also combine his observation haki with his lightning. That's something we also have never seen from other Logia. So I would say that Enel probably has an awakened Devil Fruit. Logias can probably change the climate of an area permanently, and this supports a common theory I hear that says previous owner of the Goro Goro no Mi, which is Enel's Devil Fruit, that person used it to create Raijin Island. This would make perfect sense, but I don't know why they would do it. Hopefully this island gets explained later in the future. Alright, so Oda explains that Logia Devil Fruits are basically passive abilities and that you must have a natural counter or haki in order to fight a Logia. So unless you have a natural counter or Haki, you cannot touch a Logia no matter what. So there are some inconsistencies that I saw in pre-time skip. There were characters that like Ace and Smoker couldn't fight each other because they countered each other, but there's Haki. So obviously Haki wasn't fully developed in the pre-time skip, but now Haki is fully fleshed, so it's okay. All right, so moving on to the zone categories, we get information about all 3 types of zone devil fruits. Starting off with regular zones, they're capable of turning people into animals that exist in the current day, and you can turn into insects. It is confirmed zone devil fruits are the best for physical attacks. So based on this info, I think it's safe to say the best devil fruit for someone like Garp would definitely be a zone devil fruit to match his brute force. Ancient zones are similar to regular zones, except these allow people to transform into prehistoric beasts such as dinosaurs. These types of zones allow for extra durability and toughness, which is why the Beast Pirates is full of super tough dinosaur fighters. Now for Mythical Zones, this is actually very interesting. It supports something I've been saying for a while. Basically, it says Mythical Zones have characteristics of Paramecias and zones. Zone awakenings are a little confusing. According to the databook, zones cannot affect their surroundings, but if you have read the Gear 5 fight against Kaido, you would know that Luffy can literally affect the surroundings and he's changing things into rubber. So we're going to need a deeper explanation about Luffy's devil fruit, because according to the databook, Luffy's devil fruit doesn't make any sense. And this is probably why Kaido was so confused by the way Luffy was using his devil fruit, because Luffy is using powers of a Paramecia and a zone. So it really makes no sense as to how he can change the environment and transform his body, because that's 2 types of awakenings. We need answers, Oda, and this databook is helpful, but Oda is still hiding things from us, unfortunately, and we're going to have to wait for the next one to see more information. But this is all that we got for today's video. This is all the databook has. So the only other thing is Oda's old sketches. These are basically hashed sketches that Oda tried to do for the Wano characters, but he changed it. So you guys can, I'll leave the link in the description. You guys can go check that out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.